Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. As you know about World Islamic Mint, it's an organization that sets the standard, the benchmark for the Sharia currency, called Dinar Dirham. And one of the objectives of World Islamic Mint is to be on the edge of the modern technologies that will ensure the highest quality of Dinar Dirham and security features that cannot be imitated. So about a year ago, we went to Berlin Money Fair with Sheikh Omar Badillo. And Berlin Money Fair is a fair where the top mints gather once a year to display their coins. It's kind of competition, kind of Oscar like in Hollywood. So in that Berlin Money Fair, we saw again the hologram technology, which we knew about already. And among the mints that were displaying the hologram technology was one from Kazakhstan. Interestingly, there are no Islamic countries who have developed the state-of-art technologies in the minting. All the best mints in the world today are from the West and non-Muslim countries in Asia, such as Australia, Canada, the United States, Poland, Russia, Japan, China, in Southeast Asia, Singapore. And we got interested and we approached the Kazakhstan Mint people and we asked them about the technology. And they were glad to cooperate with World Islamic Mint. So that's how we started our cooperation with Kazakhstan Mint. And I being myself from Kazakhstan, so of course I got involved in this. And upon instruction of World Islamic Mint, I went to Kazakhstan a few months ago. And we did the first sample strike. We got the first dinar ever with hologram in the history. So I think it's good news for all of us, and in a month time or so, we are going to have new coins with new standard. We may not see at the beginning the coins with hologram, because the holograms we apply first in the bigger denominations. Why? Because hologram today has not been applied on small coins. All the coins that in the market today, the proof coins with hologram, I'm talking about the Australian Mint, the Canadian and others, they apply hologram on the big coins, 1 ounce coins. But we're working now with Kazakhstan Mint on applying hologram on small coins. It's difficult to apply hologram on small coins because they are thin. So when they're thin, it's not easy to apply high quality hologram. So therefore, we will start applying hologram on the bigger denominations of our dinars and dirhams. As you know, the new standard is coming with 10 dinar and 10 dirham coin as the biggest denomination. So we start with hologram on those coins, and then we go down bit by bit as the experiment R&D goes on. And hopefully, we will have all dinars and all dirhams eventually having hologram security feature. That's the basic in the news.
Why he must
Why we must do dinar dirham? Well, I was walking the other day on the street in Tamantul Dr. Ismail where I'm living, and I saw, as I was walking on the street, several times I saw 10-cent coin on the street lying down. Just here and there, you know. Nobody picks up even 10 cents anymore. So it occurred to me, 10-cent coin, nobody even bothers to pick it up, on the street. And I remember one elderly Malaysian, some time ago, he was telling me that in 60s, for 10 cents you could buy a meal. I don't think if anybody is old enough to remember those days in Malaysia, maybe Haji Al-Mutin, but in 60s, probably the early 60s, maybe in the late 60s already it went up. In the early 60s, I think, a meal cost 10 cents. So 10 cents was a big money. The children were given 10 cents to go to school and meal and snacks and sweets. And now 10 cents is nobody, everybody's stepping on it because nobody cares because it has no value. So that would happen to the money that you all believe in, and it's not just inflation, it's a robbery inflicted upon you. So you've been robbed and robbed and robbed. And inflation is one robbery. The other half is taxes. Taxes, state taxes, is equally a huge robbery. So it's like, you know, if we talk like, you know, as a comparison, out of 12 months, I guess, 5 months you've been robbed by banks, and 5 months you've been robbed by the state. So probably out of 12 months, only 2 months you're working for yourself, for your family. The 10 months you've been working for somebody else. You don't know even who and for what. So it's a new form of slavery, and we have to wake up and we have to say no to it. If we still you know, have the spirit of a free man, unless you surrender completely yourself and your deen to capitalism, then you can go ahead with this. But not us. Not us. So we say no to ringgit, we say no to banks, and insyaAllah, in Kazakhstan too, we are talking to the government, we are talking to the muftiyat of the country, to the ulama, and we are opening people's eyes on this matter. Interestingly, ulama don't know about this. In Kazakhstan, in Central Asia, where, you know, we had all these great traditions of Islamic scholarship, I was amazed every time I bring Sheikh Umar to Kazakhstan and we meet the local ulama of various degrees. None of them knows anything about muamalat. But when Sheikh Umar tells them about, you know, Souq and the Kirad and caravans and that promissory notes cannot be used for payment of zakat and so on, then they start to think. Then they remember, then they say, oh yeah, it's in that book, it's in that book, it's in that book. So they've studied all that in bits and pieces, but they never put it together. So once you tell them that, then actually they agree and they say, yeah, we have to do this. So it's important from Islamic perspective for all of us to go back and study the Amal of Medina. That's the only way. Otherwise you cannot argue and you cannot explain to people, to the Muslims. Like your famous scholar of Islamic banking, Dr. Zaharuddin, when we interviewed him, you know, he said Islamic banking is okay because they're not doing riba. They are doing, they don't in fact give loans, he says. He says, who told you Islamic banks give loans? They never give loans. So we said, then what do they do? He says, they do trading. They buy a house for 100,000 and they sell it to you for 200,000. And then I remember he says to me, if you buy a book from a publisher for 10 ringgit, and then you go and sell it for 12 to me, he says, are you making 2 ringgit profit or riba? I said, profit. Then he says, why you say Islamic banking is doing riba? Then of course we have to say, excuse me, do you know that in the Islamic law, 2 sales in one are forbidden? He says, what do you mean? I said, what I mean is, if I buy a book and go out and sell it, it's completely different from you buying a house and knowing that this house is going to be bought by somebody. He said, hey, he couldn't get it at first. He said, wait, what do you mean? I said, look, Dr. Zaharuddin, if I buy a book and I go out, I don't know when I'm going to sell it, today or tomorrow, for 12 or for 13, that's one story. But when you want to buy a house on the condition for 100,000, on the condition that somebody will buy for 200,000, this is 2 sales in one. It's forbidden in Islam. It's an al-mu'taf al-mali. When Imam Malik gives a sample example of a man who says, buy this camel from me on cash so that I can buy it back from you on delayed terms.
Nasiah.
Huh?
It's a riba nasiah. Because of time.
But then he says, well, what does it mean? By camel, I said, look, if I come to you and I said, Dr. Zakharuddin, I'm selling to you this camel for 10 dinars cash. So you give me 10 dinar cash, right? He says, yes. And at the same time I say, on the condition that I buy back from you this camel for 20 in 6 months. So I'm selling to you camel cash for 10 dinars on the condition that I buy back from you. Let's say my house, I have a house. So I come to Islamic Bank, I say, buy my house for 100,000 so that I can buy from you for 200,000 in 10 years. Is it sale or is it just an excuse, a scheme to loan me 100,000 for 10 years that I have to pay back 200,000 with 100% profit? So what I'm saying is, you can only explain to people that what is happening is complete fraud from Islamic perspective if you refer to Amal Medina. If you refer to the Maliki school, there is no other way. I'm from Hanafi country. I can tell you for sure, Hanafi scholars miss this completely. Not because they don't know Hanafi Madhab, but because in Hanafi Madhab there is no emphasis on this. Same in Shafi'i and Hanbali. The emphasis is in Maliki school. Which doesn't mean you have to change your madhab. You can go ahead with your madhab, but we all have, this is the time when all of us have to return, we have to study again what is Amal of Medina. And from there we know how Shafi'i thinks about this, how Hanafi thinks about this. But without knowing Amal of Medina, completely no chance. No chance.